clear it, where Ramon Burrell was the only target for them. Saku forward from full-back, linking with Moses Simon. Well, the ball as well for Teller. Didn't quite have the time to take the touch. It's just settling down again a little bit, isn't it, after the flurry of activity, the trading of goals in this final. Which, by the way, just to remind you, if it is level after 90 minutes, will be settled by a penalty shootout. Jamaica were just minutes away from needing one of those in midweek before settling it from the spot anyway in stoppage time against Trinidad and Tobago. Chukwueze, he's at the centre of everything at the moment, looking for Simon. Davis comes and gathers it. How they have embraced the occasion. The Jamaican supporters enjoying the day. The weather helps as well, the sun shone out for finals day. And it's been a really bright start on the field from both. And Bakisa, that was risky, very little time for Davis. And he found Cyril Dessers almost on top of him straight away. Kisa's ball back here to the goalkeeper, just caught him unawares a little bit. This is not quite able to take advantage. Winning an 8th cap, the Rangers striker, top scorer in Scotland in the season just gone. 18 league goals he got to earn his opportunity with the national team in the absence from the squad of the likes of Victor Osimhen. He's one of the more notable names available at the moment. Has responded with that opening goal in midweek. He's yet to win a cap actually in a competitive international. All 8 of them have come in friendlies. He's given away. Here's the goal scorer, Kaheem Dixon. Russell trying to put the pressure on. Ogbu goes back to his goalkeeper, calmly dealt with by Wabali. Chukwueze dispossessed. Dixon. And Bakisa did well to get his foot in. And has it back again here. Gets to Bakisa, forward towards Burrell. Nearly for Casey Palmer. And here goes Ismaila. He's certainly got plenty of competition for that right-back role, but is currently in possession of the shirt in this squad in the absence of the likes of Ola Aina and Bright Osayi Samuel. They will come into the squad against Russia next week. Let's have a look at the possible penalty appeal from a couple of minutes ago. It would have been harsh, I think, against Richard King as Chukwueze cut it back. Chukwueze doing well to keep it in play. The questions were asked of the referee, and he waved it away straight away. Teller trying to take them all on. He stayed down at the end of that as Jamaica come clear with it. The referee again letting it go, allowing the game to flow where possible. Moses Simon. Another for Onyeka, back for Simon again. Enjoying the territory at the moment, Nigeria, but Jamaica maintaining their defensive discipline. And Bakisa looking for options. They are just being pinned back a little bit, the Reggae boys at the moment. They only had 1 day's training, said Steve McLaren before their semi-final, so he's been able to get to work with the players on the training ground since then. Watching on in the stands, amongst many alumni today, Chris Hughton, former Ghana manager, of course. They were winners earlier in the third-place playoff. Here's Dessers for Nigeria with a side of goal, and then does get the shot away. The goalkeeper can't hold it, but is able to grab it at the second attempt. Shekham Davis's great foot. Dessers, who posed the danger initially. Holgate held him up, but ultimately couldn't prevent the shot from coming in. And he got down smartly second time around, did Davis, at the feet of Nathan Teller. Isaac Hayden. Forward by Richard King, but straight through towards Wabali. He's cutting a frustrated figure a little bit at the moment. McLaren, his team haven't pushed on since getting themselves back on terms. Currently holding what they have, as we go beyond the midway point of this first half of the final. Just 2 defeats in charge so far for Steve McLaren from his first 11 games at the Jamaican helm. Signed a 2-year contract at the end of July last year. Ogbu will get it back again from Onyeka, who then took a tumble. Now Frederick. Initially joined Brentford on loan a couple of seasons ago. Made that permanent. And impressed as their under-21 player of the year. A big step up to senior international level today. Proximity played a part in the late call-up. He's gone straight into the starting lineup. There's a Simon. He'll just about settle for that. Had to settle for that, really. Up against Bakisa, who stood his ground. But he's got his goal already. And he's assuming set-piece responsibility once more as the player who's taken over the captain's armband today. Scored for the first time for Nigeria since the friendly against Mozambique. October of 2023. Nothing came from the corner. And Nigeria, in maintaining possession, will revert all the way to their goalkeeper. Now, was talked before the game that Stanley Wabali's been the regular recently. He's started 20, the last 22 internationals now. Would get a breather on the bench today, and the plan was perhaps to play Maduka Okoye instead, but there's been a little bit of a rethink in that policy. And Okoye remains on the bench because another goalkeeper, Amos Obasogi, hasn't been able to join up with the squad. He was intending to feature in the friendly against Russia next week. But visa issues, I think, have played a part in that. So a little bit of a goalkeeping rethink required from Eric Schell. There's not too many options immediately available to Len Bakisa here. With the London-born contingent in Lambeth. 4 first-team appearances for his parent club Wolves before getting regular game time in England's League One with Barnsley. And solitary appearance in the Premier League so far for Lembakisa. He's been kept busy in this opening quarter. Look at the play coming down this Nigerian left. Onyeka stopped in his tracks. He didn't take too kindly to it, and then he takes a tumble at the end of it. And we go in the meantime with Onyeka still down. Casey Palmer in possession for the Reggae boys. Still that Panenka penalty in the semi-final. Neatly done by Russell. Of Lembakisa with Barnsley was Jonathan Russell this season. Onyeka has still stayed down. And the ball now running out of play is going to get the opportunity to receive some treatment. With Richard King up against him. He's continuing the conversation with Cyril Dessers. There first to King. What followed after releasing the ball that Onyeka was unhappy about. This angle might clarify. It wasn't an awful lot in it, just steps into him a little bit maybe. He wasn't too happy with that. Eric Schell. We head for the half hour, the opportunity for both sets of players to take on some refreshment, take on some instruction as well, because this is very finely balanced right now. Big fan of Richard King is Steve McLaren. He singled him out for praise after that semi-final. He's one of the domestic-based players as the centre-back. Won the Premier League title with Cavalier just last week. And McLaren says he's somebody that will get better whatever level he plays at. He's capable of stepping up, and maybe suggesting that an English club could take a chance on him. He'd recommend him to anybody, said McLaren. So let's have a look during this break in play at what we've seen so far on finals day at the Unity Cup. Nigeria getting themselves in front. Dessers ball in, dispatched by Moses Simon. But the lead did not last long. 1-1. Kahim Dixon on the end of the ball across from Ronaldo Cephas. Just getting to it ahead of Onyeka. Levelling the scores in short order. That's the way it stays. It's only a 7th ever meeting between these nations. All of them have come in friendlies. Half of the previous 6 have come in London. Including at the last Unity Cup 21 years ago at the Valley. Nigeria won what was a 3-team tournament. Each nation involving the Republic of Ireland as well as Jamaica played 2 games. Nigeria the only ones to win both of them. Onyeka back on his feet, but still feeling that. The 31st cap tonight, Frank Onyeka. He was a regular in the Bundesliga for Augsburg. They fell short of their target of European qualification, but they started their last 16 games of the Bundesliga season. He got what he was looking for in terms of regular first-team football, which wasn't happening for him here at the G-Tech, more latterly during his time with Brentford. He has played 78 times in total. A familiar figure in front of some of these fans. There he is back involved again now. Kahim Dixon, who's down, the Jamaican goal scorer. The clash there was with Felix Agu. And Bakisa's ball. Neither of them able to reach it. Felix Agu standing his ground, Dixon going down. Well, he did go to the Copa America last year with Jamaica, Kahim Dixon. He came off the bench in all 3 of their games at those particular finals, which they contested for the 3rd time in their history, that CONMEBOL event. But it's the CONCACAF Gold Cup that will be the focus of their attention later in the summer. That's quite a useful vantage point, isn't it? Wonderful crowd inside the GTEC Community Stadium today as well. To host this competition this year. Temporarily down to 10. And Jamaica under some pressure now at the other end. Mason Holgate across to try and deal with that. Dixon making his way back on now after that period of treatment. He's immediately back in the thick of things as Dixon is the one doing the closing down. Simon settles for the throw and leaves it for Felix Agu to take. Chukwueze. Simon, no way through. And Kisa kept it in play, but actually only succeeded in presenting that to Felix Agu. And a free kick will follow for Nigeria in a useful position here. Stuart Atwell on the scene. Penalises John Russell. Almost paid a price for keeping that in play, did Mr. Kisa. Nigeria may still fancy their chances of profiting from this situation. Some organising for Davis to do in goal. He was part of the Mount Pleasant side, beaten it in that Premier League playoff final by Cavalier last week. Will he be required here? Simon and Chukwueze stand over it. It's going to be Moses Simon to take it. And flick behind for the corner. Couldn't really take any chances with that. Mason Holgate did get a touch to it. All he could do with it, really, in the circumstances. He'll be heading back to Everton after his loan spell with West Bromwich Albion, although he'll be in the last month of his contract there. Here's the corner. Came the way of Nathan Teller, but he wasn't able to bring it under his spell. Keeps it in play, though, with a tussle on the touchline. And a tumble from Teller, no free kick given. And Jamaica will counter instead. With Sifas, has covered good ground here. Burrell calling for it, Dixon was as well, but he was stopped by Felix Agu. Cross didn't come this time from Sifas. Well, he set up the goal on the other side. He's such a threat. Saw that in midweek as well. 16th cap for Ronaldo Sifas of Ankara-Gucci in Turkey. He's got 8 goals for them in the Turkish second tier this season, in suffering actually a second successive relegation. But there is a card on the touchline. It's for Eric Schell, taking his complaints a little too far. One or two decisions gone against his side that he has taken issue with. And that's maybe one too many for Stuart Atwell's liking. So the boss into the book. Neatly done by Dixon. Here's Palmer. Burrell goes down, no penalty. Again, Stuart Atwell very quickly waving it away. He'll be making his interpretation of that clear as well to Romain Burrell. Kisa. Here's Dixon. Kisa continuing his run. Stopped by Agu. Touch for Chukwueze. Simon. More space to surge into, but he couldn't find a way beyond Richard King. Jackson trying to tease that one through towards the run of Russell. He ended the domestic season with Barnsley in really good goal-scoring form, 5 in his last 5. But this was the penalty shout, waved away by Stuart Atwell as Burrell went down. And it's one that maybe would have been harsh, but it was an awkward situation that Iko Ogbu found himself in. Not quite going according to plan, is it, for Nigeria, having got that early goal, take back so swiftly, and as yet they've been unable really to reassert their authority. There's Dixon towards Russell. And a free kick given this time against John Russell. They are mounting up, aren't they? He was just a little late on Felix Akou. Eric Shelley's continuing that conversation with Ruben Ricardo, the 4th official. He's unhappy at just how physical this game has become. Said at the start it was a friendly in all but name, really, but it's been fiercely contested and maybe a little too ferociously for Shell's liking right now. Towards Dessers here. And it shows just how much this match means as well. It's another late one. But Ndidi on the receiving end, and this time there will be a card for John Russell. He's had a couple that the referees let go, so no surprise really that he's gone into the book. Didn't quite put the brakes on in time, slipped a little bit on that occasion, but maybe simply due to accumulation, the referee has decided to take action. There's confirmation of his yellow card. We head towards the final 5 of this first half. Chukwueze with the free kick, just over everybody's head. Ogbu was the closest really to reaching it, without being able to do so. He's been on the move, hasn't he, Steve McLaren, throughout this first half. Up and down to the touchline and back. Burrell was the target here, guided back by Frederick. Coolly done, that little combination with his keeper, Wabali. Ogbu, highly rated centre-back, he's had a good season with Slavia. Now enhancing his reputation further on the international stage. Someone who says he grew up watching videos of Taribo West. Taking inspiration to eventually take his own place at the heart of Nigeria's defence. Onyeka sweeping it wider. For Moses Simon. Frederick. Wonderful moment for him on debut. It's a good ball for Ismaila to provide the cross, had to be dealt with. Because Dessers was lurking in the middle. It was Isaac Hayden who got to it ahead of him. Sadiq Ismaila trying to provide the services. One of the domestic-based Nigerian players who's just won a league title with Remo Stars, claiming the crown for the first time in their history the other week. It has been quite a couple of weeks for Sadiq Ismaila. He's helped win the corner here that Chukwueze is going to take. Into the heart of the penalty area it goes. And ultimately wide it goes from Ndidi, who is yet to score for Nigeria, winning cap number 65 today. Noted for his goal scoring, but he had a glimpse of the target here when rising the highest. Awkward from there though. Ndidi. Here's Onyeka. Another target with back to goal. He was looking for something spectacular, I think, there. Nathan Tella didn't quite come off for him. That one will be cut out by Ogbu. So they got it back again with Felix Agu. And with Moses Simon. Agu. He's left a foray forward from full-back, but he's got a real battle on here with Lembakisa. He got himself in the way. Ultimately got the decision as well. The Reggae boys right back. Taking the opportunity to watch on at the G-Tech, the Brentford contingent. Nico Henry and Ivan Toney alongside him, formerly of this parish, of course, and well, potentially would have been a Jamaican international. He reportedly had the opportunity, but opted for England instead, and he has, of course, just been recalled by Thomas Tuchel after a goal-laden season in Saudi Arabia. Watching on today, a week on before England return to World Cup qualifying against Andorra. Casey Palmer coming under pressure. Well, both bosses have been very animated, haven't they? Quite agitated during the course of this first half. Getting too tight to Casey Palmer on that occasion. Jamaica have it back here, but no way through for them. Last minute of the first 45. The Unity Cup final. Amari Bell waiting to take the throw. Captain of his country in this competition. And left back who's just left Luton Town after relegation. Even wasn't quite able to reach it now, maybe the counter. Simon into space for Chukwueze on the surge. He's got Dessers and Teller in the middle. Still here with Chukwueze. And he tried to get the shot away himself at the end of all of that. Blocked really as soon as it left his boot. Still maybe the opportunity for Nigeria, trying to finish this first half strongly, certainly finishing it on the front foot right now. Sadiq Ismaila hangs the cross in. Nearly came for Nathan Tella. We're going to 2 additional minutes at the end of the first 45. Frederick for Chukwueze. He tussles with Palmer and then goes down. Referee again is reaching for his card. I don't think you can really have too many complaints with that one. Casey Palmer with Chukwueze on the floor. Swipe at it, didn't he? And tempers are beginning to boil over at the end of the first half. They maybe need the interval just to cool it down again a little bit here. Chukwueze now back on his feet, taking real issue with that. There's Caden stepping in to try and play the role of peacemaker, really, as Casey Palmer is ushered away by teammates. It's certainly been feisty, but I think Chukwueze clearly felt it went beyond that on that particular occasion. Shown him the yellow card already. Stuart Atwell to Casey Palmer. Now he wants a lengthier word with him. As much maybe for everything that happened afterwards. It was a nasty one, wasn't it, looking at that, and then there was a bit of afters exchange between the two of them. That's what the referee's now been talking to Casey Palmer about, and having just picked up that yellow card, he has to be very careful here. Chukwueze furious. He certainly needs half-time. And it maybe gives Steve McLeod a decision to make whether he reappears for the second half. Nigeria will attempt to apply some punishment of their own from the free kick, which will belatedly follow here. There's Simon waiting to take it. Put away as far as Dessers, and that will be the half-time whistle. So there's nothing to separate them at the interval. But it has been acrimonious on occasion. It's been feisty, certainly. And there are further views being exchanged as the teams head for the tunnel. Plenty to digest after that. 2 goals scored in quick succession as they traded blows. Gahan Dixon coming up with the swiftest of equalisers for Jamaica, just a couple of minutes after Moses Simon had put Nigeria in front. They weren't able to build on that lead though, courtesy of Dixon's goal. Jamaica head for the tunnel on terms. The Nigerian players staying out there at the moment, they have more work to do. They will feel in the second half if they are to lift the Unity Cup once again, as they did when it was last held 21 years ago. A show of unity from those in white at the end of the first half of the final in the Unity Cup. But more is going to be required by both. Simon's goal set them on their way, but the response was rapid from the Reggae boys. And they will believe as well that there's going to be more in it for them in the second half. We shall see, but at the break at the GTEC Community Stadium in this
lovelies. Welcome to K Jamres Restaurant. K Jamres Restaurant is located at Ofin Studenti near the ECG office.
K Jamra Restaurant, your continental dishes, local dishes, and Chinese dishes. So we are wedding, birthday, program bia K Jamra Restaurant e wo mamo abre bia K Jamra Restaurant your office studenti ECG office in chain.
You can call us on 0242 170 774 or 0256 740-842. Afenso, Esansuye delivery services. Se wo fie, ejumem, baby a wo bia ofra, ededuane bebro.
EB Favor Surgicals, ma Barbedum Ghana, and Kania near 2 Kwankwa Brutre, Kofa Hospital Equipment and CCD, Etuacho, hospitals, herbal centers, medical centers, and I say, Ankran Mope Hospital Equipment, a dear Dimujumabi, look no further, she said EB Favor Surgicals, a ban hospital equipment spa dia, a EB Favor Surgicals, wheelchairs, hospital beds, bandage, gauze, syringe, scan machines, a hoodwobia, ultrasound scan machines, theater bed, examination code bed, surgical instruments, ventilators, medical thermometers, drip stands, surgical tables, monitoring device beer, physical therapy tools with Sabeka Media Free, EB Favor Surgicals, a ban of hospital equipment, quality ones are a dear Frebrochi Maimua, and can soda, Mr. She EB Favor Surgicals. Minia, Menko 2 second go, she EB Favor Surgical.
Bed way if Germany, the bed, you know, a cost through a bar from niti ne nan ene sa ye mano ye sa pija enti nso obi da so na onu madura enya afi na ye be ka se ye confession ya atu nachi umia so ana no anti na pija no amanaduro ana wa manabian uria wa se mia so na asa akofo e wo from the doctor be hwe na ye mia so na pija abasoro uria wo de atofo o tena se didi a sa pepepe eno pa ho ye komo ebi ameke obi ntimi ensore nko toilet so hwe komo no na esi ho no the bakot efin wa che na wo mo no bibia e complete ne nan nyina wo ho
ne yechire kwan so de enye yira kwan kra
ya wo kumase ebuo ho so free kumase na eba wo tra bo ho station said ya wo sane ase wo na masala chi bi wo right ya so ya wo le ya ne ye enhwe ni mu wo tra church of pentecost so pepepe na aba ya ne salon bi ene bo ho e kwan no ho pepe so pay number 0244 262843 mrs subie 0244 262843 ana 0241 2479997 0241 2479997 ye be favor surgicals at the park and the tour.
Kanina na emma edi ye ho to mmema so nanso ene die eniema asesa enti sabio enne emepi eye titiriw ewa amanyosebu asofudie mu eni nnwuma akese mu emahia adwumadie ye mbre amahia ne yetu ye hofo ye hye ye hu kran ne ye hye ye ho den sade be ya emma yenso ye bekwa ye nim ewa abrabom ye besuansa anodwuma eni ye ho asiesie oba sa wukunu pia ana wo be pia na hofadie mu sen ekwan a oba wo befa so asiesie wo ho na wasipi na wasita ni nyina ye bekyerɛw ama wahu wo sa adwumadie yi so enti oba wasade ni sen ewo wawareɛ mu wadwuma mu ani wabusua mu. And how do you overcome your challenges? Enti hia me Lady C kwasi adai eni kwasi adabia enwumre nonso ewo Fish TV eni Fish FM so na ye wadanso ye be ma repeat anadwo nonkono enti frabusua ni nyina mehye adwumadie yi so no mema benya won chefa na mofranso benya won chefa na ni titru ni yema emehia ye di e konkombo
yada otumfo nyankopon ase we try ye ewo eye Fish TV kasefidi eso ene Fish FM eye ewiase no osoro nyina somfo osofu ka akire watene nka ewo kasefidi bebele so dinfo a osa ekora awrade asem na enipa tie no ewo kasafidie so kwa ohaw mi dan so kura na efile ne so ko saa osofu no na watene nkan program a osofu ka akire eye Guardian Angel ka Guardian Angel onyankopon hyehyeye mu no wa manipa bi abofo a ohwe ne so enti sa wo ho na woni bofo a wasem oya na osofu ka akire na ekire se nipa ye wo wa eda poti a Guardian Angel no hye ase se one wonante ye be kyerɛw Guardian Angel no so otumi fili nipa nkyɛn ye be kyerɛw de esie mani tumi fili ni panchan na ya sa kyerɛw de wonni bɔfo ni bi ade obɛyɛ a bɔfo no ɛsanso ɛbɛba wɔ nkyɛn Guardian Angel adesua no ɔsɔbo ka akyiri ɛsa ade aba ɛyɛ kasafidie kɛse we so na ɛda no ɛyɛ ɛda juada bia ɛyɛ anadwo 8 pm na yɛwie 9 pm lenyi ho Philip tumika obi nka nkyerɛ ni nua na onua no nso ɛnka nkyerɛ ni nua na ɔsɔbo ka akyiri ɛyɛ asafo a the film ɛyɛ Salvation Word Worship Center General Overseer Apostle Clement Ewrade nhyira baabi a obia na osofu ka akire de mani panyina adinim no eye prayer camp kese a Ewrade nyankopon adom Ewrade amaso ede amano ewo Denase Pampetia Offensive Road Denase Pampetia Offensive Road Heaven Key Prayer Camp anas osoro nsafo empire bo osoro nsafo we se abie me pono bi amane umetumi afa number we eye 0500 606303 and your first number the second one no and also 0500 606304 umetumi aje WhatsApp line so 0247 89 71 85 when ameba Ewrade nhyira se wo bedi WhatsApp ka akire chinso ewo eye Fish TV enwumele na nwotwe bia ekobo enwumele na nkonom adwuada edia Ewrade nhyira ewe Yesu dem ka amen.
Nimdia wuninti wonse ofudie no essay sayare ba ofudie no so entos nyadoa anase aburu a kwan ben na ode fa so Ghana kuaye awo Fish TV ana Fish FM amakuya ayeke na saya kono Ghana kuaye eye dwumadi a etufo ema nimdeɛ na afei yɛ kyerɛkyerɛw sɛ deɛ ɛbɛyɛ a wobɛnya mfaso pa ɛwɔ kuaye nim woyɛ poultry farmer wotontos wotomako enyado a wonya nantwie ana woyɛn ayɛmmoa bia afarifo yɛmfrɛ yie Ghana kuafo nyinaa yɛmmerɛ nie hyiame memenetai ɛne wo kuada bia anwummerɛ no nso na yɛne atitiriw mpanyimfo awodo a ɔma kwadare abene ɛwɔ kuayem abɛtena ase yɛbɛsi nkonya ne yɛdi nkɔmmɔ ɛde afa yɛn kuayɛ ho Ghana kuayɛ Ghana yɛdie nti Ghana nkɔsoɔ nti
Titi obi ka, titi obi kyerɛ, mpaninse, bosompo, beto eboɔ, na ɔpɛnso beto ɔtwe, na ne ho yɛ fitaa dada, na dwareɛ nso fɔe, ansa na nsuo beto. Wuni mu kurom abakwasɛm, amammerɛ ne amanneɛ, ɛno nti, yɛse, wura firi kurom hina bɛna, woyera wɔ adwaba ase. Fish TV ne Fish FM, ɛde mi kurom abakwasɛm dwumadie, ɛbɛkyerɛkyerɛw, benada weni benada bia, firi nwummerɛ no nso, de kɔpem no wɔtwe. Mpaninse, tire ti sɛ kwae, uram na wanya dua ntwa sabe unya ahomatwa enti hyia yɛn na yɛn kyerɛkyerɛw wɔ mikrom abakwasɛm dwumadie so.
Fish TV yenara yedie.
Before his return to England duty potentially. World Cup qualifying when Jamaica will be involved in World Cup qualifying as well. In that game against British Virgin Islands. He was beaten early, was Davis.
Will come your way again at full time.
Nigeria in the white to get the game underway again. Shell has sent the same side back out there. There will be changes, I'm sure, at some stage in the second half. Just the one made by Steve McLaren so far. Well, it was a busy first half, wasn't it, for Stuart Atwell, and the second has started in similar fashion. He's been involved already again. How's the official here and awarding another free kick? This time it's Felix Agu who has stayed down. So they needed, I think, that half-time interval just to allow tempers to cool a little bit. But it's picked up in similar fashion. There's no opposition player anywhere near him, actually, when he went down there, Felix Agu. He's the one receiving treatment. Did have to wait to get confirmation that he was eligible to play in this competition. That status was in doubt when the squad was selected, so he was invited initially just to train with them. But that clarification came in time for the semi-final when he remained on the bench against Ghana, but I think the likelihood was always going to be, if available, he would start today and make his debut, and he will hope that it doesn't end early here through injury. Quite a curious one, really. He's going to try and run it off. To keep an eye on, though, certainly, as he waits to be reintroduced into the action. back in 2019 when he won the first of his two under-21 caps for Germany. German-born player. He'll get himself back involved straight away here, albeit briefly dispossessed. Started the last 11 games of Werder Bremen's Bundesliga season at the end of the campaign. He scored 3 goals in the German top flight. Felix Agu looks to be moving fairly freely now. He's making good ground actually down that left-hand side, calling for it. Nearly got it as well. And stepped Kyle Ming. His first notable involvement since coming on at half-time was to reach that first. Deal with the immediate danger, but Nigeria have it back. And Wilfred Ndidi. Well, Benjamin Frederick. Moving for Chukwueze. Agu again. Ndidi. Only a decade on since his debut in the national team. He's an 18-year-old. Benjamin Frederick to Chukwueze. That's a clever ball. Nathan Teller on the end of it. Couldn't initially find a way through, but still might be able to create something here. Once away was by King. Straight into touch this time. Well, it is only his second cap. His debut came in November of 2023 in Zimbabwe. Nathan Teller now of Leverkusen, feature fairly regularly for them in the Bundesliga over the course of the last couple of seasons. Felix Agu with the cross. Not by King, but this time not convincingly, and it did fall for Nathan Teller, and he couldn't quite control the finish. They got to him quickly. A bit more difficult than it might have been. It's a player born and grew up in Stevenage, of Nigerian descent. 10 years he had in Arsenal's youth ranks before signing professionally at Southampton. Steve McLaren waiting to make another move or two, maybe. Consultation there with Trevor Sinclair, part of the coaching staff. He has responsibility, I believe, for the attacking set pieces, amongst other issues that he's been brought in to help out with. There's Ishmaila. Nelson Holgate was caught as he attempted to complete the clearance, and he has got the free kick. We'll be looking for a new club in the summer. Mason Holgate would have contracted Everton after that season's loan in the Championship with West Bromwich Albion, where he was a teammate of Semi Ajayi, who begins on the Nigerian bench today. Also looking for a new club after 6 years at the Hawthorns. There's Casey Palmer of Hull City. Burrell making a run. The goalkeeper had read the danger. Barley gets there first. As I mentioned, he's very much the first choice goalkeeper at the moment, Stanley Wabali. He plays his club football in South Africa with Chippa United. Ready to make a couple of big saves late in the semi-final to keep his team's lead intact. Lead here in the final that they lost within 2 minutes of going in front, and now Jamaica with an opportunity maybe to try and turn it around in its entirety. Casey Palmer was in full flight before being just blocked off the ball, winning the free kick. Onyeka, I think, who made the contact with him. Favourable angle for Casey Palmer. His Panenka penalty was his debut Jamaican goal on Tuesday. It was his 14th cap. Having won the free kick, he's the one standing over it. Wabali organising that wall. It's did its job. It's not straight at the wall really by Palmer. Back goalwards by Hayden, and gathered up by Wabali, made it his decisively. And more important, the goalkeeper, given the lack of international experience in the back four in front of him. On debut here, Simon. Certainly not short of experience, still scrapping for it. Comes for Chukwueze. He's outnumbered but gets his shot away and scores. Brilliantly taken by Samuel Chukwueze. And Nigeria in front in the final for the second time. Well, he's been at the heart of most of their attacking play so far. And now he's come up with a finish as well. His 7th international goal. Samuel Chukwueze of Milan with a moment of quality. Number of star names not available in this squad, but in their absence, Chukwueze is one of the more senior players available to Eric Schell. And he's led by example here. He had an awful lot to do when taking the pass from Teller, outnumbered by those in green and gold. But he dispatched it decisively, set himself, elbowed across the keeper and into the far corner. And the Super Eagles ahead again. It's only his 2nd international goal in the last 18 months or so. He did score against Rwanda in defeat in African Nations qualifying in November. They'd already qualified by then for next year's finals. That was his first goal for his country since September 2023. He's come up with a big one today. Now the challenge for Nigeria is to hold on to this lead for longer than they were able to last time around. Make it count more than they could manage last time. Beautifully done by Felix Agu. Dessers was his target in the middle. And as far as Onyeka, not too much on that for Agu. Having a bit more to say going forward, isn't he, in the second half? By Amari Powell. Cephas had continued his run, comes his way, and stepping in brilliantly to deny him was Frederick. And look at how he's congratulated by his goalkeeper. Big moment on debut for Benjamin Frederick. He did really well here. Another Cephas has caused all sorts of problems throughout this competition, but he was stopped by Frederick decisively. And it's all going on again as they wait for the corner to come in. Well, the spirit we've seen in the stands at this Unity Cup hasn't necessarily been reflected on the field at times in this feisty final. Underlining just how much they want to win it, though. How much this means out there. It's a fine line right now. The referee has got his card out here. The ball is going to go into the book, I think, after this lengthy lecture. The yellow, and he accepts it amicably enough in the end, Stanley Wabali. He's up for this all right though, isn't he? It's a difficult balancing act. A little bit more difficult now because of that booking. Here's the corner. Decent one. Comes up from the back. Out as far as Kahim Dixon. He'll have to stretch to reach that as well. Simon did well to keep that in, show good strength, and hold on to possession in the process. touch or two from Teller, but ultimately didn't quite have the room on the touchline. Up against Amari Bell. He's called the captaincy an honour beyond words. He led the side out in the semi-final and has kept the armband today. Coach was booked, of course, in the first half as well, Eric Schell. And his goalkeepers joined him. Benjamin Frederick to Samuel Chukwueze. His goal separates the sides currently. He might be in the mood for more here. Centre turn provider this time, but that was dealt with. Russell forward towards Burrell. Frederick again was there first. He's really grown into the game, hasn't he? Wouldn't have been expecting to play at the start of the week. He wasn't actually even in the squad at the start of the week. Simon was the target. Jamaica readying changes. John Atkinson is going to come on shortly, and so will Malik Mothersill. And for the latter, that will be a debut. Here's another that has been added to the Unity Cup squad since the semi-final. And this place pass from Palmer will provide the opportunity for these changes to happen here. So Dwayne Atkinson on first, another domestic title winner this season with Cavalier. First cap in over 2 years for him. And Burrell making way, so he scored on his debut in the semi-final, hasn't quite been able to get involved to the same extent today. Atkinson will take his place up top. And Malik Mothersill is on for the debut as well, in place of Kaheen Dixon, scorer of the Jamaican goal. There he is, Mothersill on debut. Croydon-born, qualifies for Jamaica through his parents. 16 goals he scored in all competitions for Peterborough United this season. England's third tier. It's his first call-up and he's on already, on the hour mark. Is going to come the way of Nathan Teller. Simon and Dessers in the middle. And their presence not required on this occasion, to the frustration of Teller. Nigerian change imminent as well. Tolu Rokodare of Genk is going to be on shortly. There he is, made his debut in March in Rwanda. 21 goals he scored in the Belgian Pro League this season, his career best. Earn him only a third cap. A change is always likely at this stage of the game, regardless of the scoreline. The flick is by Chukwueze, nearly for Dessers. Just mistimed that one. It's going to cost him the card as well here. Jamaican bench was straight on their feet when that challenge came in, and Sadiq Ismaila has gone into the book. He's timed it up against Ronaldo Cephas. Can't really complain over the caution. So right back into the book. He's trying to shepherd that one out of play is Wabali, and he's just able to do so. Only just able to do so in the end. He does have previous in international management, does Eric Schell, with Mali, for whom he played 5 times As a centre-back at international level. Spent his entire playing career at club level in France. Born in Ivory Coast. And the boss of Nigeria. As of the start of this year. By King. Here's Cephas. They've made the run for him. Still with Ronaldo Cephas. He's able to deliver the cross, and they've levelled it again. It's Russell. It's 2-2. Real resilience from the Reggae boys. They will not give this one up. And they're back on turn for the second time in the final. John Russell of Barnsley with the equalising goal. From right in front of goal, but once more, big part played by Ronaldo Cephas. He's the one that made it. Another dangerous delivery. Just asking for it to be finished off. And just as Dixon did in the first half, Russell does the honours this time. All square again in the Unity Cup final. Only his second goal and only his 6th international cap for Jonathan Russell. He called for this competition for the first time since the last Gold Cup. He did score against St Kitts and Nevis a couple of summers ago. He's given them something to shout about again here. But once more, it was all about Cephas really in the creation of the opportunity. So Nigeria make this change. They were going to make it anyway when they were 2-1 in front. The situation has shifted somewhat as Nathan Teller makes way to be replaced by Tolu Arukarade. That goal-laden season with Genk. He's hoping to take that sort of form onto the international stage here. Might mean a little bit of a reshuffle as well. Dessers, you'd imagine, will go a bit wider, although they could play now with 2 up top. But they need a 3rd goal to get themselves back in front again. Twice they've led, and it's not been enough. The goalkeeper didn't have a lot of time to complete the clearance there. Palmer, it's a lovely ball. Cephas in dangerous territory again. Certainly given what we've seen from him. This time he goes down, and there is no free kick forthcoming. Referee had a good look at that, very quick to wave it away. So the counter-attack. Kadare. Messi slips it back through to him. Kadare almost with the instant impact there. There's a big block to deal with the initial danger. But Nigeria will come again with Chukwueze. Not only as far as Onyeka. There's Simon to Felix Agu. Really good game now. They're both giving it a real go. Chukwueze, in keeping with the rest of this competition that has provided us with fabulous fare this week. This one heading for its closing quarter is right in the balance again. Benjamin Frederick. Ishmaila. A reminder, only 3 caps across the Nigerian back 4 before today. Well, maybe Jamaica have capitalised on that inexperience a little bit at times. They've done so with real quality. Here's Cyril Dessers though. Didn't quite have the room to forge your way through. Run back well by Ndidi. That is what he often does. And he's gone down at the end of that. Up against Dwayne Atkinson. Nigeria still have it though. In a promising position, out by Holgate. Straight back for Chukwueze. Chukwueze nearly. This time Davis was right behind it. This time Samuel Chukwueze from that type of territory is denied. But he looks likely every time he has it here, which is fairly frequently in this final. Just opened up for him. Some power in the shot, but Davis saw it all the way. It's an excellent challenge in here just moments earlier as well. Shut the door on the substitute. Rokadare. Kelsey Palmer. Sifas. Stopped by Ismaila. He not only won the ball well, but he's come away with it. Chukwueze. Taking on Amari Bell. Cyril Dessers. Goes again, and over it goes this time from Rokadare. His presence important though already since he came on. Nigeria looking to utilise that. Got to it first, but it was always clearing the crossbar. Simon providing the service this time. On the move, rangy run, wanted to take the free kick quickly. Does so now for Casey Palmer. Sifas is going to reach that first and out quickly, and bravely was Webali to deny the danger man. Ronaldo Sifas is causing Nigeria all sorts of issues right now though. Wonderful game he's having, just as he impressed in the semi-final. Just about stayed onside, that was very close. It's a player, Sifas, who can play anywhere across the front three. He was started Macedonia prior to his stint in Turkey with Ankara Gucci. Started his career back home with Arnott Gardens. He's certainly done his reputation no harm in this competition. Bali was equal to him on that last occasion though, and he's the one that will get the game back underway here as we go into the last 20 of the 90 minutes. Amari Bell. Here's King. Would recommend him to anyone, said Steve McLaren when talking of Richard King. He's certainly capable of stepping up. Here's Amari Bell. Just too much on that to Sifas through the middle this time. Plenty who might perhaps be hoping to put themselves in the shop window at this competition. But also playing for places with the competitive internationals to come. Busy summer ahead for Jamaica. There's back-to-back World Cup qualifiers over the next week or so. And then the Gold Cup in the USA. Beattie working it wider. Simon is staying wider now since the changes. There will be another change, by the way, shortly for Nigeria. Santos Uche of Hetafe. He's going to make a debut shortly. There he is, receiving his instructions. First international call-up for this competition. I was thought initially earlier in the week that he might not be able to feature, but he's set to be summoned as a sub shortly. Not until after this corner, though. Moses Simon is sizing up. And he started the scoring. Sends that in too close to the goalkeeper, who almost lost it for a moment. Davis able to react in time taken away in the end from Cyril Dessers. That looked relatively routine until that moment for Shaka Davis. He collected it and then lost it briefly. Eventful affair for Shaka Davis so far. Chukwueze. There's Frank Onyeka. Where is Simon? Battle at the moment between Jamaican defence. Atkinson providing the cover to his fullback Kyle Ming. Again, under pressure this time. Didn't get the free kick he was hoping for in there. Instead, it will be a Nigerian corner taken quickly by Dessers. Felix Agu. Chukwueze. Very brilliantly done. Here's Dessers, and just over the top from Arokodare. He's had a couple of glimpses of goal already since he came on. That was well worked in the build-up from the Super Eagles. Chukwueze looks full of tricks, doesn't he? Full of attacking intent. Nearly makes something happen again, despite the odds being against him. Numerically, certainly. So it's going to be Cyril Dessers that will make way in this Nigerian change for Crisanto Suche for a debut. Regular in La Liga for Getafe this season, started 30 games for them in the Spanish top flight, where he spent the entirety of his professional career. Ravel Morrison on for Jamaica as well, in place of Casey Palmer. And Morrison was a late call-up just before the semi-final when he also came on in the second half. On in place of Palmer here. Steve McLaren getting a good look at Ravel Morrison, whom he worked with previously at Derby County. And he hasn't been able to get a good look at him at club level because he plays these days in the third tier in the United Arab Emirates with precision football. And McLaren initially had made the decision to leave him out of the squad simply because he hadn't been able to check on his form and fitness. Never mind in person, but not even on camera. But Morrison will get another go into 20th cap whilst Shakan Davis is down. A little bit concerning for the keeper. Both the backups, as I mentioned, are uncapped on the bench, Williams and Chambers, but there is Crisanto Suche for an opportunity that he is hoping to capitalise. Chance for somebody in this closing quarter of an hour to make themselves a hero. And if not, we go to penalties. He's finished his first season with Getafe as Suche. 4 goals he got in La Liga. And he started the last 3 games of it. But still no nearer knowing how this is going to end up. Tony, an interesting spectator at this stage. It was through his dad that he qualified for Jamaica. Decided to pledge his international allegiance to England in the end instead. The Reggae Boys had certainly made a number of attempts to persuade him otherwise. Supporting them today. Ghana were winners in the third place playoff earlier against Trinidad and Tobago. They were comprehensive victors in that particular Afro-Caribbean clash, but this one so much closer. again. Felix Agu immediately looking at the referees and get the benefit of the doubt there against Atkinson. Another international watching on, Eni Aluko, Nigerian-born, England international of real repute. So neither side short of support in this final, that is for sure. It's a good ball. Kadare forced a little wider than he might have wanted. Simon in support. And Leku was calling for it, but it's still with Moses Simon. Too deep for Chukwueze. Who stayed down. He's the one that put Nigeria in front for the second half. And the second time, the first time in the second half. Well, both managers spoke at the pre-match press conference yesterday just how difficult they were expecting this final to be. And it hasn't disappointed, have it? It has certainly lived up to those predictions. A good detail just how physical Nigeria can be. His team have gone toe-to-toe with them in that respect. And it might be as much about mental strength at the end and determining who ultimately will prevail. Chukwueze. Here he goes again. And Amari Bell able to step in and stop it. Taken quickly. Ismaila and Chukwueze combine. Ismaila sends in the cross. It's going to be cleared as far as Samuel Chukwueze. And again that he has had. And then awkwardly from Ndidi, another corner to come. Nigeria just wrestling back the authority a little bit. They're in the ascendancy again at the moment. Plenty of possibilities for those in white from this corner kick. Chukwueze to take it. It's partially cleared by Russell, who's going to get another go. It's a bit more behind that one. Felix Agu is underneath it, then had to react quickly. Waits for Bell though. Atkinson on the move. It's another strong surge. Did really well there, Uche. Chukwueze taking over, back towards Uche. And had Kadare just behind him as well. They'll come back with Ismaila. Another teasing ball in, again the header was always just too high. He made it his, not for the first time. Kadare. He's starting to provide the service, isn't he, from right back. Sadiq Ismaila. Further changes incoming for Nigeria, potentially moves made, maybe with penalties in mind. We're going to bring on Kelechi Iheanacho here, and Bruno Onyemaechi as well, but Jamaica will make their move first. John Russell, who scored the second equaliser, is being replaced by Warner Brown. There's another late arrival to this squad. He wasn't available on Tuesday either. Made his way over from Jamaica, where he plays with the Arnott Gardens club. It's his fourth cap. Scored on his last one against St Vincent and the Grenadines in March. He's on. Nigerian changes will happen here, I think. Steve McClaren getting another message across, having just made that latest change. So here come the changes. Felix Agu making way on debut, which ends here. Like change at left back. Bruno Onyemaki, who won the domestic double in Greece with Olympiacos, having joined in January, is on in his place. He started the semi-final. And a wonderful reception from the Nigerian supporters for Samuel Chukwueze, whose part is played. Must have hoped when he scored that lovely goal to put them 2-1 in front to re-establish their lead that it might be enough to help them win the game, but they've been pegged back again. And on in his place comes Kelechi Iheanacho, the 58th cap, where he finished the season on loan from Sevilla at Middlesbrough. So came off the bench on Wednesday night. Coming on at this juncture know that they may well be involved potentially in a penalty shootout, although Jamaica left it much later in midweek to win it without, and they scored from the spot in stoppage time. Nigeria, having gone 2-0 up against Ghana relatively early in that game, are hanging on a bit late on the following night, but they're in the ascendancy here just at the moment. Looking to edge ahead for the third time in the game. Frank Onyeka will have to settle for the corner. It was Isaac Hayden that got back to him. He plays at Premier League clubs who may well be moving on in the summer. Hayden ended last season on loan at Portsmouth from Newcastle. And he made his Jamaican debut back in November in the CONCACAF Nations League against the USA. Onyemachi here. He's able to deliver that one. Held it up by Davis. Actually came on for a penalty shootout shot on Davis in the Jamaican Premier League playoff final. Right at the end of extra time he was summoned, but ultimately his Mount Pleasant side were beaten. On spot kicks by Cavalier. For the fourth time in their history. A significant proportion of domestic-based players included in these Unity Cup squads by both managers. Many of them have played a significant part already, but the final chapter is still to be scripted. So coming under pressure, just not quite able to fashion a way through from there. Good defending. So we deny Warner-Brown. May well have played had he been available on Tuesday, said Steve McClaren. He gave him his debut in February in that friendly with Trinidad and Tobago. Onyeka. Simon. We have both Uche and Rokodare calling forward in the penalty area. It didn't get that far. Richard King playing a part in preventing it from doing so. Onyemachi. Such a successful half-season with Olympiacos. Decent distance on the throw. But straight through it goes in the end into the gloves of the goalkeeper. Brown was his target there. And he's straight to the conclusion as well. Chris Hughton, former Ghanaian boss, whose side were winners earlier, former side were winners earlier. And here's a star-studded audience at the GTEC Community Stadium today. It's a competition that has piqued the interest, certainly, in this part of the world. Good effort. Iheanacho's first involvement, really, but Davis dealt with it. So it's particularly interesting in this part of the world. It has, of course, in the Caribbean and in West Africa as well. In addition to the diaspora communities in London representing these two nations, able to savour seeing their side in the flesh. That's what it's all about. It's certainly been embraced by everyone involved. Looks like Benjamin Frederick is going the distance. Uche. Was able to reach it first, but it was too far in front of Moses Simon. Davis has been kept busy, but most of his work in the second half has been relatively routine. Beaten, of course, by the Chukwueze effort. And they still have a big part to play if it does get as far as penalties. No extra time, it will go straight to the shootout in its level after the 90. Could be about to get nervous for those watching on if it does indeed go to the shootout. Jamaica scored 2 penalties in the 90 minutes against Trinidad and Tobago. Contrasting fashion on Tuesday. They may well back themselves. They'd be the happier, I think, if it ended this way. Give themselves a shot from the spot. Nigeria trying to force the issue. The more likely may have been the last now of the 90 minutes, but being kept at bay just at the moment. Iheanacho, forward by Ogbu. There's Onyeka. We'll get it back again from Kelechi Iheanacho. And Yamaichi is wider. Kadari was his target. Wilfred Ndidi! Not quite. Would have been an unlikely match winner from there with Wilfred Ndidi, but he didn't miss by much. Reminder, he's never scored in those 64 previous caps. Only goal this season came for Leicester City against Tranmere Rovers in the second round of England's League Cup competition. He was just missing that far post. Nice touch to set himself though. Just couldn't quite match it with what followed. 18 goals in total in Leicester City colours and over 300 appearances for them. So we're well into the first of the 3 additional minutes at the end of the 90. All that's separating us now from a penalty shootout. Flick, and Uche was almost away and then brought down, and the referee with a decision to make here. There were 2 of them that got back to him. The yellow card is out for Mason Holgate. Santos Uche feeling the effects of that, certainly. Booking was for the earlier one, actually. Holgate on Arakadare. And they doubled up on Uche. The caution was for the first one for Mason Holgate. There is confirmation of it midway through stoppage time, although this will only extend the drama a little further yet before we get to the shootout. If we get to the shootout, it's about this stage of the game when Jamaica scored their winner near midweek. They are hanging on a little bit here. Nigeria, the only nation that have previously lifted the Unity Cup. They beat Jamaica in a one-off game when it was first played in 2002 at Loftus Road. They won it again 2 years later at the Valley. It hasn't been staged since until this year. So here's the free kick. Iheanacho standing over it. Didn't really beat the first line of defence with that, but he might get another go. Kelechi Iheanacho. And again here, trying to trick his way through, but he's stopped by Amari Bell. Jamaica standing firm. And it works loose for Warner Brown. Couldn't quite make anything of that. And with the 3 additional minutes played, there goes the whistle. They can't be separated, and it will take a penalty shootout to do so. And to determine who will lift the Unity Cup at the end of this, we're still no nearer knowing. Twice Nigeria got themselves in front in this final. Twice Jamaica battled back. It was Moses Simon, the skipper, that started the scoring just 10 minutes in. That was a lead that lasted less than 2 minutes before Kaheem Dixon's goal. Nigeria resumed authority in the second half, got themselves back in front again with an excellent strike from Samuel Chukwueze. But again, it wasn't enough. Russell, who levelled it after some fine play from Cephas, he set up both of them. But it is that goal from Jonathan Russell, just the second of his country's colours, that has ultimately taken this the distance, that has set up the penalty shootout. And Jamaica, who scored twice from the spot in the semi-final, may well fancy their chances now of going on and lifting the trophy. They've certainly played their part in an entertaining spectacle. The Reggae boys showing real resilience to twice battle back and to take this the distance, to the frustration of Eric Schell, whose side finished in the ascendancy but couldn't find that finish for a third time to get themselves back ahead again. Chukwueze may be the standout for the Super Eagles, but he was taken off before the end of the 90, will play no part in the penalties that will come. Full time after 90 minutes, all square. Jamaica 2, Nigeria 2. So a penalty shootout on the way then at the GTEC to settle this Unity Cup final. There's the coin toss. Amari Bell and Moses Simon, the two captains who played the entirety of the contest, going through the formalities to determine at which end the kicks will be taken. And indeed, who will take the first one. Well, both these nations are hoping to go on and qualify for next year's World Cup. They both still have plenty to do in that, but occasions such as this will help with those preparations, perhaps. It has the feeling of a championship, doesn't it? There is silverware at stake, of course, at the end of this. Well, we're still no nearer knowing which of them will be lifting that Unity Cup. But it's an eventuality, I'm sure, that both have prepared for. Steve McLaren was busy issuing the instructions, determining the order in which his players will take the penalties. We saw two really contrasting spot kicks from them in the semi-final. A Panenka from Palmer and a powerful one into the top corner from Richard King, who is still out there and will take one, I'm sure. He did in that Premier League playoff final just 8 days ago, as he finished on the winning side of the Cavalier. He stepped up actually and took the first kick in that particular shootout. We're passing on the instructions as well to the two goalkeepers, Stanley Wabali and Shekan Davis, who came on to face those penalties in that domestic final. He replaced Tafari Chambers, who played 120 minutes. It was a change that ultimately proved in vain. Davis will hope for rather greater success tonight. So they're all ready, and it will be Richard King who's going to take the first penalty, just as he did last week in that cup final. Scored from the spot in the semi in stoppage time to win it for Jamaica, to get the better of Trinidad and Tobago. That was his first international goal. He is going to take the opening penalty here up against Stanley Wabali in that Nigerian goal. And he scores emphatically again. It's a really good penalty. No mistake from King. Setting the tone, he will hope. The centre-back is something of a specialist in these sort of situations. Didn't give himself a lot of margin for error with where he put it, but ultimately it was perfect. He's scored a penalty or two down the years, hasn't he? Ivan Toney watching on. So first up for Nigeria here will be their substitute Kelechi Iheanacho. Hasn't been on too long. Iheanacho also scores. Went the same way. Again, the goalkeeper went the other way. And it's all square in the shootout. I enjoyed that one. Took his time, but kept his composure. So Davis the wrong way. So Isaac Hayden next up. Sent forward by Steve McLaren to take their second penalty. Isaac Hayden also scores. This time the goalkeeper went the other way, but dived out of the way. And it's 2-1 Jamaica. Smile on the face of Isaac Hayden. He's a relative newcomer to this Reggae Boys team. He certainly enjoyed this competition. In both the games. So Moses Simon, who started the scoring today, Nigeria's most experienced international on the field, is going to step up to take the next one. Must have thought when he put his team in front 10 minutes into the game that it might have been a much more straightforward evening than it's developed into. There was a little bit of pressure on his penalty. And Simon scores. Good penalty so far. Well, the goalkeeper has been able to guess right yet. Slow and steady run up, and also into the corner for 2-2. Ravel Morrison to take. Only recently recalled to the international setup this week at short notice by Steve McLaren. He's the next to take on Wabali. Morrison from the spots also scores into the corner. They remain perfect so far. This time the goalkeeper did go the right way, but he couldn't get to it. Had to be right into the corner. I thought because he'd gone the right way that he might have got to that, but it was excellent from Ravel Morrison. His part is played. Rokadare next up. Wonderful season he's had in front of goal in Belgium again. Scored 21 times in their top flight. He's over the next one. And also scores in off the post this time. Well, again, nobody leaving much margin for error, but nobody making an error so far. The stakes just rise that little bit more for every player that steps forward after every successful kick. Dwayne Atkinson. Now he was a title winner with Cavalier in that penalty shootout last week. In for just his fourth cap today, taking their fourth penalty. And he's hit the bar. The first to miss from the spot. Dwayne Atkinson can't convert for Jamaica, and that could be so costly. Teammates go across to console him. That will hurt. It didn't miss by much. Off the top of the bar and behind from Atkinson. He was taken off before that penalty shootout last week in the Jamaican Premier League. He couldn't convert, so it's advantage Nigeria. If they can from this one, Onyemaechi does so emphatically, and they're one kick away. Thumped in from the fullback for 4-3 Nigeria on penalties. The next one has to go in to give Jamaica any chance. See how much it means, don't you? Roar of relief as much as anything may be. The captain to assume responsibility for this. Amari Bell has to score, or the Reggae boys are beaten. Spoke this week about the great honour of being afforded that captain's armband. Can he keep them in contention in the penalty shootout? Amari Bell does score with a measure of composure. A precise penalty. He didn't necessarily opt for the power, but he picked his spot. Forces Nigeria to win it from the spot. The next kick could be the crucial one. If it goes in, Nigeria win the Unity Cup. Bell just applying that little bit of pressure. Did his part, but there is no more now that they can do. Unless this doesn't go in. Christantos Uche, on his international debut, is the one who places down the potentially decisive penalty. Pressure on his shoulders, certainly. Mr. Winnett. Uche does score, and Nigeria win the Unity Cup. On debut, he scores from the spot to settle the shootout. And the Super Eagles have done it. They've done it the hard way, but they have the trophy. Still, there's never been any other name on the Unity Cup. 21 years since it was last staged in England's capital. They've kept hold of it. They've needed the penalty shootout to do so. 5 successful kicks from 5. Ultimately, Dwayne Atkinson was the only one who couldn't convert. And Jamaica finally are beaten in a final when they never knew that they were beaten, when they twice came back from behind in the 90 minutes to take this the distance. But it's Nigeria who celebrate, Nigeria who will lift the silverware shortly. Nigeria who kept their nerve from the spot. And they did so brilliantly, really, all 5 of them. Kiss of the ball. Lengthy run-up and a fine finish. Some way to mark his international debut. To competition in which he wasn't necessarily expected to feature, he has ultimately had the final decisive say. So many others, though, that have played their part in what went before. Unity Cup competition that has averaged 4 goals a game right the way through. McLaren's side set up this final by scoring from the spot in stoppage time in the semi to get the better of the All-Caribbean contest with Trinidad and Tobago, and how they have represented their nation, their people, with the performance that they put in this final. There is real pride as the efforts of those players are acknowledged by those in the stands. Pride has been a theme running throughout this Unity Cup, both on and off the pitch. And there's plenty of it on display at the conclusion here. They came so close. They came within a penalty of lifting the trophy against higher-ranked opponents. Against the odds, they kept battling back. 20 places they're ranked below Nigeria in those FIFA rankings. Twice they trailed in the game. But ultimately, just that one penalty between them. Ryan Atkinson was the unfortunate player in the shootout. Ultimately, of course, it's the positives from the performance that will carry them forward to matches that really matter in terms of qualification. Nigeria have one more friendly to play before they turn their attentions to World Cup qualifying. That will come in Moscow in just 6 days' time, that friendly game against Russia before they resume World Cup qualifying, with work to do against Rwanda on the last day of August. But before then, there is certainly plenty of time to celebrate this. They can enjoy the moment. He can certainly enjoy the moment, and what a moment it was for Uche on debut. Took a bit of nerve.
It is time.
Well, in the semi-final. So it is West Africa today that's got the better. The third place playoff and in this Afro-Caribbean final, but only just. They did have their chances, Nigeria, to win it without the need for penalties. Well settled from the spot. And they will be presented shortly with the prize. Great moment, though, for the supporters to share in, as it will be when they see their team lift the trophy shortly as well. But Nigeria have won it on penalties, 5-4 from the spot, after the Unity Cup final had finished all square. Jamaica 2, Nigeria 2, but it's Nigeria's trophy. That is what Nigeria are about to get their hands on after the musical interlude that we've just had, adding to the party atmosphere. It will be Nigeria really to celebrate in style shortly, having won on penalties against Jamaica in this final. Both sets of players putting so much into this final, and indeed this competition as a whole, both coming through really tough semi-finals in midweek and serving up another spectacle today in the sunshine in West London. West Africa have just and only just got the better of the West Indies. Needed penalties to do it. Well, this was the final in a one-off game when the Unity Cup was first staged at Loftus Road, not too far from here. In 2002, it was a three-team tournament. 2 years later, they both contested it again along with the Republic of Ireland. Nigeria won that one as well. And now 21 years on, they have done so again. But only just. Two managers still in the relative infancy in terms of their tenures. We'll take positives from the performances this week in this competition into some crucial qualifiers to come. Nigeria not back in competitive action until the autumn. Those 4 remaining World Cup qualifiers, they have work to do. They're only 4th in their group after the first 6 fixtures. With only the top team guaranteed to go straight through to next year's World Cup. Runners-up spot will go into a potential playoff. Jamaica harbouring hopes of qualifying in CONCACAF as well before then. They have a Gold Cup to contest this summer, games against Guatemala, Guadeloupe and Panama in the USA. Those group stage matches from the middle of next month onwards. Just short of lifting a trophy today. His side have certainly played their part in the entertainment provided at this competition. They're heading for the tunnel with that part now played, an embrace between the bosses. It was fiercely fought, at times it threatened to boil over a little bit on the pitch, but there's real respect between those two at the end of it. And reasons for optimism for both of them. Still early in their tenures in charge. Well, they've learnt a lot about players he perhaps didn't know quite so much about, and the competitive environment that the Unity Cup has provided, just unable in the end to get their hands on the trophy. They will vacate the scene and leave that for Nigeria to really start their celebrations, although this has been a footballing celebration throughout the course of the week, and certainly on finals day. Carnival atmosphere throughout. We've had a food festival, we've had a music concert in between the two games, a post-match performance as well. And now the prize will be handed out. We'll wait for those in white to get their hands on it. They were taking the distance today before doing so. So a few more minutes will matter not. But the phone's out making the memories. A number of these players remember featuring for the first time for their nations. Benjamin Frederick of Brentford B made his international debut today. Played the full game, having only just been called up to the squad after the semi-final, and certainly impressed. Chrysanthus Uche scored the winning penalty on his debut, having not long since been brought off the bench. It was a back 4 that began with just 3 caps to their name in total, who were twice pegged back in the game by Jamaica, but ultimately got themselves over the line thanks to 5 perfect penalties. The chance for these celebrations to be shared in. It's Kelechi Iheanacho for the opening penalty. First of 5 in that shootout. Well, there are some big prizes, of course, to be handed out in world football today. The Unity Cup is about to be awarded for only the 3rd time here in its history, but it's not necessarily the trophy itself, it's what it means, it's everything that's gone into winning it, it's the moments that they've been able to share with their supporters, many of whom, of course, aren't normally able to watch their team in action in person. all of that will matter so much more. And that's the case for all the sides that have been involved in this competition, not just the winners, but for Nigeria, it is a little bit extra special, perhaps. You can see from the reaction of the players that this is more than just a friendly tournament. This is something they will always remember and look back on fondly. Whatever happens in the fledgling careers of many of those involved, and indeed some of the more experienced players will still soak up these moments as well. A nation that have been champions of Africa 3 times previously, who qualified again for the AFCON in Morocco